Hello everybody and welcome. This is going to be a live cast with myself, Visage Casts, and Gimmers joining me today as the play-by-play caster. How are you doing, Gimmers?
Hello, I'm doing fantastic, thank you. How are you? Ready for this great MSI game?
I am very excited. We are looking at Fongvu Buffalo versus 1907 Fenerbahce in the tiebreakers of Group A, jumping straight into pick and ban phase.
Yeah, we've already got rid of the Rise and the Akali.
Two very prominent picks that we see in almost every single game. Rise and Akali are able to be flexed out to the mid lane and the top lane as well, where they provide a lot of assassination in terms of the Akali and pushing power and lane control for the Rise.
Also got the Braum and Galio, obviously both strong supports at the moment, but the Talia is not one that I would have expected to see banned.
Talia jungle has been picking up in priority a little bit. Fenerbahce did play it in some of the earlier group stages to great effect against Isurus Gaming, so it's not too surprising to see Fongvu Buffalo take it away there. But we're deliberating on the last ban for Fenerbahce, and I am surprised to see both the double Jarvan and Galio ban. Normally you see one of them banned away to stop the kind of cannonball hard engage, but both of them banned. You are suspecting that Fongvu Buffalo don't want to get hold of the Jarvan themselves.
Oh, and Zero is deciding to get a Jace here early on. Very aggressive pick, and maybe even the Aurelia in return here for Fenerbahce.
Yeah, well, these are two options that can be flexed between the mid and top lane. We're still in a meta which is dominated by lots of different champions able to move around the map. Teams not wanting to reveal too early what they're thinking, but a last-minute switch to Rumble, you would expect that typically to be going into the top lane, so maybe Fenerbahce think they are going to be playing that into the Jace, or the Jace will in fact be going into the mid lane.
We have seen Rumble. Well, at least in solo queue, I've seen Rumble be flexed around a little bit. The Nautilus picking up here. This is pre-buff Nautilus, I believe.
It is pre-buff Nautilus, so in 9.9 he got some heavy buffs to his AP scalings, and the passive got a nice little buff as well, but he's still strong before that as well. He received a string of small buffs, which has put him into a position where we're seeing him played AP mid lane. Have to see if that is the case for Fenerbahce so far, as Gragas is picked up for Fongvu Buffalo, expecting that to be the jungler, and Varus followed up as well, one half of a bot lane duo.
Interesting that they've decided not to go for some of the stronger jungle picks that are open at the moment with the Conqueror, such as Hecarim and Rek'Sai.
Yeah, both very engaged heavy champions, but maybe they want to get the Gragas to provide a little bit of AP to the team. We still don't know where that Jace is going, so we could be looking at a AD mid lane if he does end up there, and the Gragas would bring a nice bit of AP damage if they decide to go for that damage bill. But Sivir has been picked up by Fenerbahce for the bot lane. Very nice with a spell shield to block the chains of corruption from the Varus, denying some of the engage potential, and into round 2 of bans.
Yeah, looks like they're assuming that the Jace is going to go top and trying to take away LeBlanc from Null on the side of is it Buffaloes?
Fongwu Buffaloes, yeah.
Yes, Buffaloes. Okay.
Karthus is going to be removed now. Remember, we have seen Karthus jungle a lot throughout the regular season, and with Fenerbahce still not having locked in their own jungler, Fongwu Buffaloes may be looking to remove that option, force them into something that they have to interact with a little more, rather than just farming up until 6 and then dominating team fights with that ultimate.
The Yasuo, that must be a respect ban there. They must know that somebody on Buffalo is a big Yasuo player and decided to take that one away.
I am quite surprised to see it banned away though, because the Yasuo is a nice response to the Jace. You can wind wall a lot of his harass in lane, a lot of the damage, and the empowered Qs as well that Jace fires out. They will chunk out any squishy targets for the side of Fenerbahce, and the wind wall is a very easy defensive measure to completely deny that. So I'm a bit surprised to see that banned away by Fenerbahce, but Fongvu Buffalo's definitely targeting Kiri's jungle pool here, with the Kindred and the Karthus trying to put a squeeze, since they have managed to pick up the Gragas for themselves, limiting the options, but it does not matter because a Nocturne we'll be seeing come through now.
Yeah, perhaps an answer for the early game picks that there are on the side of Buffaloes at the moment.
Yeah, and a good tool to get into the backline of Fongwu Buffalo. And if it looks like they're going for a bit of a siege composition with the Jace and the Varus able to poke down at range, really wanting to play around these towers, the Nocturne is able to use the Paranoia, dash through that front line, and get straight onto priority targets to try a hard engage break of the siege here. But Morgana is a nice pick to pair up with his Varus. It could go mid, we have seen that a little bit. But if we're assuming it's a Morgana Varus bot lane, that is a very safe defensive lane that Fongwu Buffaloes have got themselves there. Lysandra and Corki are looking to be the last two picks, seeing whether Corki will be locked in for Fenerbahce or whether they will be going for something else. They will be switching to a Vel'Koz at the last minute, it looks like, which means that Nautilus is going into the support position. No mid lane Nautilus like we have seen in previous games. He will be back down into the bottom lane, providing some hard engage, but I must say, going to have a difficult time of it into the Morgana. The Black Shield able to deny a lot of the engage potential of Nautilus, especially the point and click ultimate. And Varus is a very safe lane anyway, wants to sit at the back. And apologies for those slight technical issues we had there. We had a bit of a crash on our Discord, so we did lose each other, but we are back now again. At least I hope we are. I hope we are back and not going to have any more issues. So,
yeah.
Something that I was mentioning briefly in the champ select before I realised we had lost touch with each other. Fongwu Buffaloes don't have a traditional tank or bruiser. They don't have a front line to take these front-to-back team fights, whereas Fenerbahce, as we're seeing, the Nautilus is support rather than going for the mid-damage AP Nautilus that we've seen. They are a bit more capable to play the front-to-back team fight. Is that something you would be expecting from Fenerbahce? How do you think that's going to impact the mid-to-late game sections?
Yeah, I mean, they've picked up the Civis, so that's obviously a late game scaling character as well, with the Vel'Koz too, very happy to sit at the back. I guess the onus is on Buffalo now to really force these fights earlier on. Perhaps not the most difficult, but they do have to run through, the Nautilus E and the Rumble Ultimate as well. Two pretty dangerous abilities to get through. But hopefully we'll see lots of skirmishes.
Yeah, I imagine we will do. There's a very strong pairing in the mid-jungle synergy for Fongwu Buffaloes with the Gragas and the Lysandra. A lot of potential to catch out this Vel'Koz. He has no movement abilities, has no dashes at all. As soon as that flash and the stopwatch is gone, he will be very susceptible to any crowd control that Fongwu Buffaloes are able to throw his way. And with the Lysandra point-and-click ultimate, you always have to respect the all-in once she hits level 6.
This is pre-Lysandra buff as well, right? I believe she was buffed on 9.92, so I don't think she's going to get those little buffs that she got. In fact, I'm pretty sure she was nerfed quite heavily just before this patch too, so interesting to decide to go with it.
Hopefully not as obnoxious as she has been previously, but still a very dominant pick, very safe, offers a lot of utility. None of her core mechanics have been changed at all, but we're seeing Kiri's Nocturne path down towards his bot lane. Fongwu Buffaloes haven't spotted it out.
Oh, he's skulking. He's coming up here behind these guys. They're both level 1. There's the flash engage from the Nautilus. Not a whole lot the Big Koro can do here, and he's going to have to go down quite quickly. Decides not to blow any sums.
Very nice setup there for Fenerbahce. They'll be happy that the kill managed to get onto Nocturne. Of course, they are putting Fongwu Buffalo's bot lane behind, but more importantly, Nocturne will start to enable this snowball, picking up more gold, able to get to that point level 6 faster. He is able to just decimate champions and dive on them. So a very nice kill for Fenerbahce, and they will not be too upset that Hades didn't manage to pick up the kill onto the Sivir himself.
Ooh, only 35 there, going a little bit aggressive onto that Morgana. Well, she'll keeps her safe, but I mean, you have to think there's a little bit of disrespect really from the bot lane of Buffaloes there, just letting the Nocturne walk up behind them, not considering he might do that, as Meliodas finds himself in a bit of a dangerous position now, trying to steal these Raptors. Well, he did steal a couple of them, but he's still in the jungle now, has the level advantage.
Yeah, flirting with danger does have his double buffs. Of course, with the Gragas early game doesn't do the most damage, but still something to be respected. Nocturne is squishy, so doesn't want to go toe-to-toe against a level advantage Gragas with the double buff as well.
Oh, Ruin going aggressive onto Zeros here, trying to assert his dominance in the top lane, but Jace trades back really heavily. Can he get close enough onto it? He flashes forwards here, and he's going to have to run away. The flash from Ruin comes back onto him, and Zeros just put himself in a terrible position.
Yeah, very questionable play there, flashing forwards into the middle of a minion wave. Rumble, of course, has the shields that he can use, no mana to worry about, and very questionable decision to go back in there. Recovered a lot of the damage on the back end of a trade as Ruin was walking away. Didn't really need to press that advantage too hard, and has now put himself 300 gold down by handing that kill over to Ruin here.
Yeah, it was looking good here, and then he really overcommitted.
Yeah, you can see how much damage with the range advantage that Jace has. He was able to output as Ruin was walking away, but flashing forwards into the minion wave, maybe thought he could get the last bit of damage, but the shield came out, giving Ruin the survivability needed to win out on that trade, able to buy himself some more cloth armor and negate more of this Jace's poke. One of the big advantages that he has in lane, now going to be less effective going forwards.
Oh, only 35 there, going on to Morgana once again into the spell shield. He gets locked down and ignited, so now he's given up where they had a great lead in the spot lane.
Yep, kill has gone over to Big Korra, so we're now looking at a kill and slight CS advantage over to the side of Fongwu Buffaloes. Clearly not being deterred by the early gank, they have got some vision down now, and that will give them a strong side of the map to work around, as it looks like surprising to see Zeros is being pushed in again. You always think of Jace as very dominant.
Oh, the TP is coming in here from North to try and turn this 2v2 around. They're getting the engage now. That's Ruin in a really bad position. He's getting CC down. Not really much he can do. He doesn't have his flash, so looks like he'll be going down pretty shortly. Can they get onto Kire as well? He's got the plant there, so deciding against it with Bolulu coming up behind. He's level 6 on this Vel'Koz, so he's very strong. Zero's also no flash here. Can't get away from the fear, and he's going to go down too. So a 1-for-1 trade in the end.
Kill handed over to Bolulu there, giving him some extra gold to work with. Wasn't able to roam as quickly as Null. He used the TP originally to start the fight. Meliodas engaging, knowing that they have the numbers advantage. Bolulu has to walk upriver to join this fight, but Fenerbahce managed to drag out this fight just long enough. Ruin, surprisingly durable. We mentioned already how Rumble has that shield. Level 6 on Bolulu, able to catch out the fleeing members of Fongwu Buffalo and turn that into a 1-for-1 trade. Kill going over onto the mid lane of that.
Oh, Meliodas finding himself in a really bad position, but just about survives through the Rumble ultimate.
Another flash has been used. You're looking at flashes down on both.
Oh, and there's the flank from the Lissandra. Not a moment to rest in this game, as there goes Hades, and only 35 is surely to follow very soon afterwards. But he managed to get the return kill on Pallet, so it's not the worst in the world.
Heal not managing to save Pallet's life there, but proactive plays here by Fongwu Buffalo, wanting to try and make things happen around the map. They knew that Kiri was in the top lane. He just helped Ruin push into the tower, so they managed to get Null to roam down. You can see Fenerbahce very high up in the lane, caught out. The spell shield cannot block all of the CC available. Pallet is dragged under the tower by the Nautilus, maybe not quite respecting how low health they actually were. But 2 kills now over to this Varus with a significant CS lead as well. Not something that Fenerbahce will want to be, a position they want to find themselves in at this stage in the game.
Yeah, not too far behind just at the moment, even though there's been lots of kills going both ways so far. They are getting, well, now the Nocturne is level 6, so we can see him be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more proactive, because he was getting bullied a bit in his jungle earlier on.
Yeah, and it's a good opportunity now. We mentioned how the defensive options for Fongvu Buffalo were quite strong in this bot lane with the Morgana Black Shield. But if Fenerbahce really want to force something and try and stop Big Koro getting any more fed, they could look to use the Nocturne ultimate in conjunction with Hard Engage from the Nautilus.
Meliodas coming in here with the spell shield. Really, the disrespect from Fenerbahce here is showing through, as only 35 is going to go down as well. And now Kire's in a 1v3, but he's got Balulu there with the ultimate, comes in behind, and his damage is huge at this point. There's no mana on Meliodas, so there's no way for him. That is a triple kill over to Meliodas and a double kill in return for Balulu. 3 for 3.
Absolute massacre here all across the Rift. We are seeing action time and time again, not able to get a second to rest, but we have to look at where the kills are going here. Triple kill over to Meliodas will be very nice for him, able to get some more power onto Buffalo's jungler, but 3 kills are now sitting on Balulu in this mid lane. Vel'Koz is very scary. We mentioned how he would be wanting to be sat at the back of a fight behind only 35's Nautilus, that bruiser front line. But we have another engage up in the top lane.
Yeah, speaking of only 35, he's walked straight up here onto Zero's. The equalizer goes down, and Zero's has to flash away, and now Null tried to save his teammate. Oh no, Hades thought he could come in and join at the back, but now he's all by himself, and he gets picked up as 4 members of Buffalo's collapse onto him.
Yeah, I'd like to see a replay of where Hades was at the start of that fight and why he thought he was able to simply walk through half of Fongwu Buffalo's team by himself. But I'm sure there'll be a logical explanation in a second. We might be able to see it here. This is a replay of the fight in bot lane. And we've seen so many times this game already. Fongwu Buffalo are the first people to make the rotation, but the Nocturne able to jump in and join the fight. A lot of damage because of those early kills. And then Balulu manages to get in as well, has that ultimate, and all of the damage that he is able to put up from the kills he has got so far, just shredding through the remaining members of Fongwu Buffalo down in that bot lane there.
Yeah, it looked like Meliodas was going to hang around there to counter-gank the Nocturne, thinking Nocturne must be 6 now, he's probably going to look for this bot lane play. But no hesitation, he just went straight out into the lane, picked up those 2 kills, but the return engage was great.
Yeah, and if you weren't playing against a champion like the Nocturne, that would probably have been a clean triple kill down in the bot lane with little retaliation. But because of the global presence, well, near global presence of Nocturne's ultimate, you always have to respect that any fight could very quickly turn in Fenerbahce's favour with the numbers advantage. Moving up as a 3-man unit now to secure the Rift Herald. Give them some good agency to play around the map and force one of these towers down if they so desired. Certainly pick up some gold for themselves in these tower playings.
Yeah, Buffalo definitely seemed to know what was going on. They threw down the missing ping onto the Rift Herald, but nobody was in a position to do anything about it. So, deciding now that they can trade the Dragon for it at least. Kire's going to dive onto Zero's here, who's not been having a great time so far. Gets a lot of damage down onto Ruin though, but his flash away means he will be safe. And it looks like they're going to get a lot of the plates, probably going to put down the Herald as well.
Just managing to flash out of the tower range to drop the aggro. Very, very coordinated play from Ruin and Kiri on the top side of the map. And it does look like Fenerbahce are sacrificing their bot lane here. You can see Meliodas is between the 2 towers, forcing away Hades and only 35. Just having to sit there and watch as we are likely to see the first tower of the game going down to Fongvu Buffalo. They have focused around this bot lane a lot.
Ooh, Balulu decided to just blow his ultimate straight at Null there, who just takes his E over the wall, doesn't mind too much. They're going to try and get some of the plates back that they lost in the bot lane. Kire goes onto Null here near the tier 2 tower, forces the ultimate and backs off, but he's still taking turret damage, and Pallet flashes in with his ultimate. I don't think there's much Kire can do. The stopwatch goes down as well, so Pallet's still safe, and now Balulu is getting knocked up, but Kire managed to pick up the kill at least onto Pallet, but there's 2 kills going down for them. They thought they might get lots of plates in the mid lane, but they traded their lives for it.
A fantastic response to Fongwu Buffalo here. Are they going to just managing to save the mid lane tower as well? We've seen both of these teams trying to race to knock down the first tower. Fongwu Buffalo thought they could do it in the bot lane, didn't quite manage it. Fenerbahce responded with all of their ultimates, all of the pressure to try and force Null out of this mid lane, so they had free access to this tower. Nearly managed it, but you can see on the minimap here, the 3 members that were in the bot lane for Fongwu Buffalo have backed away. They are making their way up, and this is where Pallet will flash in, get the ultimate to force away the members of Fenerbahce and buy enough time to just save this tower.
In the meantime, they've lost their first tower, Fenerbahce in the bot lane. Mid tower's still standing on a sliver of health.
While we're talking about that replay, Fongwu Buffalo were able to just chip away, get the last couple of hits down there. Fenerbahce will not be too happy that they've lost out by such a slim margin. A couple of autos is all it would have taken to knock down that mid lane tower and take it for themselves, that hefty gold advantage. Now at 2k in Fongwu Buffalo's favour.
What are we looking at for Fenerbahce right now? They've got the scaling composition. How do they start to bring this game a little bit closer? They lost a 2k gold lead. How do they bring it back?
Well, the first thing I think we need to see Fenerbahce doing is what they're looking towards now. This mid lane tower is on a sliver of health. Just walk up and knock it down. Take this mid lane tower, open up the map, give yourself a little bit more access to the jungle, a little bit clearer access to the river, and try and play as a unit. I think they need to keep Kiri on the Nocturne. He needs to be roaming around in the jungle at all times, constantly trying to farm, keep himself ahead of levels on against the Gragas.
Oh no, diving onto Balulu here, putting himself in a dangerous place. He blows his Zhonya's as Null's under the tower, gets hit by the binding, and he's going to go down. Now, it's the fight. It looks like they want to commit to it. The top laners are both posturing. Kirei comes in with his ultimate. The paranoia scares away the Jace, forces his flash, and then runs very swiftly away, probably wisely with the Sivir ultimate.
A lot of resources are used in that fight there. You have to wonder whether Fongwu Buffaloes were baiting Balulu out there on the Vel'Koz. Of course, when he uses the ultimate, he is locked in place and stationary. They knew they had Pallet nearby on the Morgana, able to throw out that Dark Binding and root him in place for the easy kill. So, if you watch it again here, Null goes forwards very aggressively. You can see the pings coming down on the minimap. I think this was a calculated bait, knowing that Balulu would go for the all-in. Pallet there with the Dark Binding, nice and easy picked up. Very intelligent play here. Zeros nearly caught out by Kiri, thinking he could do a bit more damage than he did, but walking away with 1 kill in their favour. And
these are the kind of plays that we need to see from Buffalo, really. We know that Fenerbahce have the late game scaling composition, but they also do have champions like the Nocturne and the Rumble who can force things from a distance, including the Vel'Koz as well. Lots of damage. So,
yeah, there's a lot of potential for Fenerbahce to all of a sudden turn and go all in on one target. Only 35 isn't massively tanky at this point yet on the Nautilus. But give it another 5-6 minutes, a bit more gold under his belt, and he will be able to initiate some of these plays with the hook.
Oh, there's the flash on only 35 to dodge away from the cask from the Gragas, who's going to get locked down by the Equalizer as well here. Can he get away? The binding comes down onto Kiri, but he spell shields it. Zero is going to think about the flank, jumps in. You don't really want to jump onto a Nautilus, though. The Varus ultimate comes down as well, and okay, Null blows his ultimate. He's in the middle of the fight. There's the Balulu's ult as well. TP's coming in now too. Looks like they're going to finally decide to commit to this one, as I say that and the team's running away, but there's a Sivir ultimate. Can they chase him down? They do manage to shut down Null, so that's something that's good for the favour of Fenerbahce. They might also get onto Koro here, but he gets the shield. There's the ultimate from Nocturne. He got blown up though. He went in and he died.
Big Koro turning up clutch there at the last stage of that fight. It looked like Fenerbahce had Fongwu Buffalo on the run, chasing them away from their mid lane tower, back down the lane. But clutch plays turning it around, getting a double kill for Big Koro's Varus here. Fenerbahce overcommitting to that fight, thinking they could take it further than they did. But other than that final mistake, that was a very clean fight for Fenerbahce. And you could see some of the issues we talked about in the draft phase materialising here. Fongwu Buffaloes don't have a front line. They don't have a tank or a bruiser to absorb this damage, whereas Fenerbahce, they have the Rumble, he's able to take a decent amount of his damage. They have the Nautilus able to repeatedly dive in again and again throughout this extended fight. The amount of times he manages to pull the hook and grab a member and drag them back into the fight. And okay, at this point you want Fenerbahce to walk away. You don't want them to take this engage here. But they can continue to try and push their luck because they have that front line to work with. Fongvu Buffalo don't have that. As soon as they're on the run, they need to get out of dodge, they need to retreat and reset. And something that, as we do get to the later stage of this game, through like the 25-minute plus mark, could turn very well in Fenerbahce's favour if they're able to utilise team fights like we just saw there.
Yeah, Fongvu Buffalo is definitely going to have to think very carefully about the fights that they want to take. Blowing the ultimate now onto Nautilus. This is perhaps one that they don't want to do. And Zero's trying to go in, but they're going to get the flank from Null. Looks like Fenerbahce might know it. They're already running for hills. Spell Shield onto Kirei blocks the ultimate, but only 35 is down. He was in the middle of the team. Wasn't a whole lot he could do about that. And Fenerbahce having to run, but Hades is all out in the open here. Just going to try and perhaps execute himself. Yeah, it looks like he's just going to give up his life. Nothing he can do. Puts himself in a really bad position, and he's just going to have to give himself up. And that's going to mean a lot of pressure here for Buffaloes in the mid lane. This is exactly what they wanted.
Able to rotate around, knowing those two key members are down the bot lane duo. The old Rumble Ultimate has been used to try and wave clear. Will stop the tower from falling, but at what cost? We saw there Fongvu Buffaloes not afraid to take that trade in the bot side of the river. They knew that the main damage threat of Balulu wasn't able to engage into a fight, didn't have anybody to shield himself behind. Kiri had been knocked out and caught out of position as well, so able to just pick themselves up a couple of kills nicely there. Hades managing to walk down and get the execute. Feels bad, but prevents Fongvu Buffalo from gaining anything else from that fight there.
Hades really hasn't found a great foothold in this game so far, though. So that late game that Fenerbahce is sort of moving towards is getting pushed back every time he goes down in a play. Unless, you know, Balulu could bring it all down for his team. He could be the one man to carry them through. His build may not suggest that, though. Quite supportive so far.
At the minute, you are looking at Balulu and Kiri for the side of Fenerbahce as the main damage threats. 0, and 4 Sivir with, compared to the 5 and 2 Varus. Not a situation Fenerbahce would wanted to find themselves in, but they still have enough damage to win these team fights if they are able to drag them out and pull Fongvu Buffaloes into these extended fights. That is where Fenerbahce's team composition will excel. Fongvu Buffalo, on the other hand, need to look for these short, sharp engages. Want to get in, go for some burst damage, like they are here onto only 35. See what they can make of this.
Speaking of, Zero's going straight forward onto only 35. Does actually get him. He was very far from any of his teammates. Thought he could pull himself to safety, but doesn't quite manage it. And the ultimate comes out from Varus there. Thought maybe they could pick up Hades too. Not going to at the moment. Kirei looks like he wants to get an engage, perhaps. Yeah, there he goes. He's gone onto Koro. Turned around onto Meliodas now. Didn't want to stay there too long. Meliodas going very low. Blows the Zhonya's. Goes golden. Zero's managed to pick up Balulu. That's big in this fight because he's the damage dealer. And Kirei goes down as well. Now Ruin running for his life. Just about avoids the binding there. So he's going to get away. And Null is chasing down Hades. But, you know, Hades is the one. Not too important. Gonna let his team do down without having to fight him, though.
Massive misplay for Fenerbahce there. They were a little bit too overconfident, tried to force the fight too early. They didn't respect that Zeros was in the red buff pit above them on the side. But Fongvu Buffalo might have made a catastrophic mistake of rowing here, thinking they could go for Baron with the death timers on Fenerbahce, but too low. This is another impact of not having a tank to absorb that damage here. But we're going to see the Nocturne will dive in, but all this time Zeros is up on the top side, just waiting for a moment to strike. Balulu is isolated and able to be taken out of the fight straight away. Kiri dove in and had not enough support from his team. So at this point you have both of the main damage threats from Fenerbahce taken out already. You have to think that if Fongvu Buffalo had maybe had a different priority and tried to force down the mid lane turret, they would have got more from the back end of that play rather than a bit of an embarrassing execute on the Baron that they ended up with. But, you know, we all make mistakes. We can all learn. You never stop learning and improving.
You know, Null learned there that she was a little bit too slow to get to Ruin. And just to get around that wall. Looked like he was a bit confused when he made it into that tri-brush. He's like, where's this rumble gone?
Yeah, not really a massively beneficial engage there anyway, although Newell does have the damage to back it up. 417, the Ludin's Echo and the Zonya's Hourglass have been completed there. We're seeing the defensive
Oh,
boots come out, but
the engage from Kire onto Null here. He's going to get feared into a lot of CCs. Still manages to blow his ultimate, though, as his team runs down. Gets the Zonias as well. Is it going to save enough time? Doesn't look like it. He's going to go down. Does a lot of damage, though. Hades already half health, and Kire as well. So perhaps Buffaloes might try and get an engage onto this dragon and take the fight 4v5. They do have the flank from Zeros here.
yeah,
He's on.
Null managed to stall out for a long time there with the ultimate and Mazonya's Hourglass. Two different sets of untargetable. Might be trying to find a fight here, but Zeros has fired off too early, given away his position and missed, and looks like he will now be isolated and chased away. The rest of Fongbu Buffaloes are trying to get up.
They're here. Ruin is caught out now. He's in the bad position. Zeros was in the bad position a minute ago, but now it is Ruin who gets knocked in with the cast. Goes golden though, and Meliodas, nothing to do. Stays back too long and gets blown up by Balulu's ultimate.
The burst damage from Balulu when that passive procs with all three stacks was disgusting. Meliodas just melted in that disintegration right there. But Null is back up now. The dragon hasn't managed to be claimed by either team yet. Fongbu Buffaloes managed to delay Fenerbahce long enough for them to kind of reset and take a soft break in the middle of this game here. A lot of posturing, a couple of kills picked up, but not a lot gained by either team here.
Yeah, but this isn't what Buffaloes want to do, so they are forcing the TPs. They're going to try and make this fight happen again. There goes Null into his ultimate once more. Hades having to blow the flash to get away. Is the Zonya's up? No, the Zonya's not up for Null, so he's going to go down this time before his team can get anywhere near. Only 35 has to flash away, but the Fenerbahce are turning this fight around. They want to go in. Zeros gets locked up by the Nautilus, but Nautilus is so low, doesn't want to take the fight. Equalizer comes down. Ruin once again in between four people. Flashes out as well, and now the fight is fully committed. Fenerbahce running away with it. It's so, well, not quite. 3 for 2.
Massive burst of damage there all of a sudden. You wonder why Fongbu Buffaloes keep trying to force these fights in a 4v5 situation. It looked like they had a nice position to start with. They have lots of members flanking around, but Fenerbahce decide, alright, they want to try and flank us with lots of members. We'll collapse onto one of those straight away and take away that option. Null is removed from the fight immediately, and you are now looking at a 5v3 situation as this fight breaks up. Meliodas is on his way up, but Zeros getting dragged in is not where he wants to be. You want to try and siege with the Jace, fire off those empowered Qs, do as much damage as possible, and the hook there from only 35, dragging more people in. Balulu being a big benefactor there, doing huge amounts of damage to these grouped up members of Fongbu Buffaloes as we look. Setting up vision around Baron again, 25 minutes into the game. We have not seen either team make a serious attempt at Baron yet. Fenerbahce look like they might be trying to go for this Drake once again.
Yeah, you gotta think that now's the time for Buffalo to try and force this Baron down, or at least to get another team fight where they can get into decent positions and take the game, because the longer this goes on, the closer we get to Fenerbahce just outscaling Buffaloes.
Yeah, and it's actually getting harder and harder for Fongbu Buffaloes to try and play around the Baron pit as well. The ricochet from the Sivir will cut through all of the grouped up members. Balulu is able to do huge area damage with the ultimate, and you have to remember, I know I keep going on about this, but they don't have a tank to absorb the damage. If Fongbu Buffaloes try and do any of the Baron stalls that we see so many teams attempt, they are going to be taking huge damage onto their carries. They don't have someone to sit there and just absorb it, like Fenerbahce would be able to do with the Nautilus.
Going for the Baron now. This is the play that they're trying to make happen, trying to force something. Ruin's bot does have the TP available. And getting this Baron down is below half health now, but here's the TP. Sivir blows the ultimate as well, thinking they might run straight at Fenerbahce. The slows come down onto Null, goes away, lost a little bit of health, but they're going to get away from the pit here, and it looks like they're just going to ride down mid lane.
Yeah, very clever play by Fongbu Buffaloes there. Decided to start it up. They knew Ruin was in the bot lane, and they knew that to get up to this fight, he would have to use the TP. Standing on the Baron just long enough to draw that TP out, and as soon as they saw it begin to channel, they immediately walked away. Very clever play to draw out that long cooldown summoner from Fenerbahce there, meaning that they can now set up for the split push themselves. Zeros hasn't got his TP available at the minute, but it will be up before Ruins is, so they have about 5 minutes to breathe, knowing that the Rumble is not able to join any fight whenever he may so choose.
So who are we looking at now on the side of Buffaloes to carry them through these team fights? Who's the member that we expect is going to bring them through this game?
To be fair, if you're talking about Fongbu Buffaloes, it could be any one of them. All of the members that need kills and need the damage have access to that. Meliodas has 7 kills here, doing huge amounts. He will be the main initiator with the Gragas ultimate, able to force members of Fenerbahce out of position, hopefully picking off 1 or 2 before the fight begins properly. Zeros is able to siege down from a long distance with the empowered Qs. Well, look there, how much damage that does already. Over the course of a long siege, 2 or 3 of those, you're looking at half health for Fenerbahce's members already. Big Koro, 5 kills. He has the Wit's End. He has the Blade of the Ruin King and the Rage Blade. His 3-item power spike on this Varus will be absolutely horrible if he manages to get onto any member of Fenerbahce. I'm wondering why the Zonya's Hourglass was used by Meliodas there. I'm assuming that was a bit of a misclick on the edge of our screen as we panned away.
Oh, the ultimate from Big Koro there onto Balulu, but he does have the cleanse, so it blows it very quickly, and they're going to turn around to go for the Baron here whilst they think they've forced Fenerbahce back to their bases. Nope, changed their mind. They're going to go back to pushing mid lane. Looks like Kirei is going to try and... Oh no, he's not backing up, but he will get that GA soon, and that'll be very big for them as well, so that he can get some good, clean engages for his team.
Yeah, it'll provide a lot more safety for the Nocturne as he wants to try and dive in to the backline. Doesn't have to fear quite so much about being blown up instantly and being out of the fight, as he will have that revive, but... A very powerful summoner lost by Balulu there, having to use the cleanse. When the two teams are posturing up around this Baron, as it looks like the game is going into that... We're moving into that stage of the game where the Baron is becoming more and more important. Balulu not having that cleanse means he is all the more vulnerable to being caught out and being taken out instantly. And you asked me a minute ago, who was the member to look out for Fongbu Buffaloes to carry the game?
No, it could be Zeros, but he's going to have to flash away from Kirei. There's the ultimate for the Paranoia. Gets the flash, but I don't know how useful Flash is. His life is much more important, though, as Ruin finds him trying to back here, so he's going to run him down. Looks like Buffaloes are starting the Baron at the same time, though, and it's a long way for Kirei to run to get back up here. Hades blows his ultimate to try and get his team in to stop them from doing this Baron, and looks like they were successful, so stopped the Buffaloes from finishing that one off.
Clever play there. Surprised Zeros did manage to get out of that fort. Ruin was going to stick on him and try and harass and chase, but Fongbu Buffaloes deciding to try and start up that Baron to draw Fenerbahce's attention to the top side of this map, alleviating some pressure from Zeros, allowing him to slip away back to base without losing his life. So nice play there from Fongbu Buffaloes, coordinate across the map to try and help out all members of the team, but they are unable to stick to this Baron. They have the commanding position around it. Most of the vision around it is theirs.
Ooh, Balulu having to blow his flash there to get away from Zeros and Pallet, and Ruin gets the equalizer down, but Big Koro is trying to get onto Hades. Your ultimate's blown there to try and take him out, but he flashes the wall and he's okay. Wow, a great Q from the Nautilus. I don't know if that was intentional. Pulls it in null, but doesn't mean anything because he goes down in the end. And now we've got a man advantage for Buffaloes. They're going to turn it around onto this Mountain Dragon.
Yeah, Null has the aftershock here on the Lysandra, so whenever that CC is applied, gets the massive increase to armor and magic resist, coming in key there, managing to keep them alive. The Drake will finally be taken by Fenerbahce Buffaloes, evening out the Mountain Drake score. And we see here, Fongbu Buffaloes are just so confident at taking these fights, taking these engages. They know that to a certain extent they're on the clock. Big Koro, excellent reactions there, flashing as soon as the ultimate from Balulu comes down. Only tagged him for maybe a second at most and half-healthed him. So, you were like we said a minute ago before we were taken into the replays. You asked me who the person to watch for the side of Fongwu Buffaloes was, and I said that all the members are more or less equally strong here. Fenerbahce, they have a man to watch. Their man to watch is Balulu here. At the minute, he is the only person really that is keeping Fenerbahce in these fights. The amount of damage he is putting out, the amount of displacement he is putting into the side of Fongwu Buffaloes is insane. Now, as we keep going into this game, Hades is going to become scarier and scarier as Sivir reaches that devastating late game stage. But right now, and for the next 5 minutes or so, Balulu is the man to watch, and the man that Fongwu Buffalo need to eliminate if they want to take these fights cleanly.
The engage now from Kira. He gets onto the team of Buffalo. They're trying to run for their lives right now. It's not looking good for them. The GA goes down for Big Koro, and the fight keeps going on. Nobody's dropped down yet. Actually, the first kill goes over to Buffaloes, and the fight is... It's getting real messy right now. Zeros comes in, and Buffaloes are turning this one. Wow! And a clean ace for Buffaloes.
An insane reverse fight there. It looked like Fenerbahce had the run of it. Like, they'd taken everything and forced Fongwu Buffaloes into an unfavourable engagement that they could win easily. But no, they managed to turn it around. The GA from Big Koro managed to buy just enough time. The lifesteal from the Blade of the Rune King healed him up. And we could be looking at the end of the game here.
Yeah, they're going to try and end this one. They've taken out every member. There's still 10 seconds left on this Nautilus. Nobody can stop them. Together, they push so quickly. And they're going to take this tower. And looks like they're going to win the tiebreaker and go on to face Team Liquid in MSI.
Fongwu Buffaloes win the tiebreaker against Fenerbahce Games in an explosive team fight to close out the game. Very happy to be winning that on home soil in front of a home crowd, and you can see how disappointed Fenerbahce are looking now. All they had to do was stall out that game for a little bit longer. They were coming more and more online, getting scary in these team fights. But on the day, Fongwu Buffaloes had very clean play. They executed the fights towards the end of that game very cleanly, and they will be our victors. Moving on to face North America's hopes of Team Liquid.
Cool.
Excellent. Well, that has been another cast by myself, Visage, and Gimmers. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We do apologise again for the small technical difficulties we had towards the end of draft phase, but thank you, everybody that is watching. Please do leave us some feedback. We do very much appreciate it, and we will catch you on the next little cast we do. Thank you very much, Gimmers. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you too.